Lyon in the summer of 1248 was a humid, logistical nightmare. King Louis IX was funneling 40,000 men, horses, and camp followers south, turning the city streets into a massive bottleneck. This massive holy war was running entirely on bad credit. The price of basic supplies had doubled in a matter of weeks, and the local coinage was debased so quickly that merchants had to bite every single coin to ensure they weren't paid in copper wash. Trapped in the middle of this chaos is Bonnepensée Foy. A wool merchant from Champagne, Foy has been strong-armed by the French crown into personally underwriting a Dominican diplomatic mission to the Mongols. Under the terms of the bond, Foy is the mission's sole guarantor. If the friars fail to pay their debts on the road to Karakoram, the crown will seize his warehouses, all his inventory, and his family name. This severe financial exposure becomes an immediate crisis when the mission's clerk is pulled out of the Rhone River. He has a precise, lethal wound on the back of his skull, and the leather satchel carrying their operating capital, 4,000 livres of silver, has been sliced clean off his belt. To the religious men of the mission, the clerk's murder is a human tragedy. To Foy, it is a catastrophic default, a sudden deduction that leaves his life's work in ruin. As Foy pries the dead man's stiff fingers apart, he finds a watertight leather scroll case. Inside is the papal bull, the official mandate from the Pope authorizing their journey. This papal seal attached to the document bears the name of Pope Innocent IV. But Foy notices an immediate discrepancy. It feels 3 grains lighter than a standard struck seal. He is holding a mule, a sand-cast counterfeit poured in a foundry and artificially aged. The reality of the situation settles in. The silver is gone. The passport is a forgery. The mission has 0 money, 0 authority, and a completely compromised balance sheet. Foy takes the fake seal into the city, tracing its distinct metallurgical signature to a back-alley foundry run by a man who casts cheap pewter pilgrim badges. Under the very real threat of being reported to the bishop, which carries a punishment of boiling in oil, the badge maker talks. He admits the dead clerk paid for the counterfeit, accompanied by a nameless scrivener. The craftsman remembers one highly specific physical detail about this scrivener. His fingers were permanently stained blue, not from standard ink, but from woad dye. Woad dye is sticky, hard to wash off, and used by one person in their entourage. Herbert, the mission's quartermaster, uses it every single day to mark the royal inventory bales. Herbert embezzled the campaign silver months ago to cover his own debts. When the clerk discovered the shortage, Herbert offered a solution, a forged bull to buy them the time needed to replace the funds on the road. Once the fake was cast, Herbert struck the clerk from behind, throwing him in the river. It was the ultimate accounting maneuver, eliminating the only auditor who could permanently expose the deficit. Before they can leave the city, the mission must secure final approval. They enter the massive stone nave of the Lyon Cathedral to present their forged documents directly to the Pope and his cardinals. A senior cardinal takes the document for inspection. He holds the lead slug up to the candlelight, rubbing his thumb slowly over the face of St. Peter that the badge maker cast yesterday. Foy watches the cardinal's eyes widen. He feels the greasy base metal. He recognizes the crude, provincial casting. He knows it's a fake. But the cardinal makes a quick political calculation. Exposing the forgery right now would stall the king's armies, humiliate the French crown, and force the church to admit their security was beaten by a local tinkerer. Institutional pragmatism wins out over divine truth. The cardinal hands the document back, declaring it in order. With a single nod, he successfully launders a cheap counterfeit into legitimate geopolitical currency. With the paperwork cleared, Foy rushes to the city gates to confront Quartermaster Herbert. He finds the missing silver hidden inside a barrel marked salt pork, stamped with fresh woad ink. Herbert draws a knife. At the departure gate, this becomes a desperate struggle for asset recovery. Foy takes a blade across his forearm just to get close enough to drive his knee into Herbert's groin. The brawl is broken up by a local sergeant of the provost. The guard sees an opportunity. His presence is simply an unforeseen operational tax on their departure. This visual ledger calculates the final cost of the negotiation. Foy recovers the 4,000 stolen livres, but immediately pays a 40-livre bribe to keep the law away from his wagons. He then pays an additional 10 livres to officially purchase custody of the quartermaster. Herbert is shackled to the footboard of the lead wagon. He is mathematically reduced to an indentured asset, forced to work off his debt on the road. The wagons finally roll out of Lyon. The foundation of this wholly diplomatic mission to the Mongols rests on a murdered clerk, a bribed guard, and a counterfeit soul, a perfectly balanced, entirely amoral ledger.